This is not the Church of Emmanuel, Christ, of Latter-day Saints, of Joseph Smith. This is the Church of Jesus Christ.
So plain and precious. Finally, the Book of Mormon is the keystone of
Emmanuel.
Just as the arch crumbles if the keystone is removed, so does all the church fall with the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon. The enemies of the church understand this clearly.
One of our brethren some years ago spoke of the payment of tithing as fire insurance. Nonetheless, the word of the Lord is clear that those who do not keep the commandments and observe the laws of God shall be burned at the time of his coming. For that shall be a day of judgment, a day of sifting, a day of separating the good from the evil. I would venture a personal opinion that no event has occurred in all the history of the earth as dreadful as will be the day of the second coming, as fraught with the destructive forces of nature, as consequential for the nations of the earth, as terrible for the wicked, and as wonderful for the righteous.
Travis Wayne gets home. The beam in the moat still is not being understood, even though the videos that I get the comments from are not from the video I did yesterday. But again, it just continues to show how true that Matthew passage of beam in the moat is. Because Mormons, and even some people who aren't Mormon, I'm getting attacked by them too, are not only threatening me to deny Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon in the learning of the Jews, attacking my character, attacking my appearance, condemning me, falsely accusing me, telling me that I can't judge you, which is why I did the beam and moat, which also by their fruits is involved. It's in that same chapter. You're supposed to understand it in the context of where you misinterpreted and pulled out of context, judge not lest ye be judged. And trying to claim that I'm the other, that I'm an antichrist, anti-Mormon, Korah, satanic worshiper. All because you cannot defend the church's position claiming that Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon are not the learning of the Jews. That's the difference. That's all it's about. There's a saying, probably should have looked this up to get it quoted exactly. In which it applies to behavioral control, and that's what people are doing, is they're trying to not only get me to deny Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon, but they're also trying to control my behavior by telling me that I'm the one who's mean, that I'm the one who's judging falsely, that I'm the one who's wrong, I'm the one who's got the problems. Go and when he will not depart from it. It comes from Proverbs. The American Standard version of it for 22:6 Train up a child in the way he should go, and even when he is old, he will not depart from it. So it's a proverb. I believe Joseph Smith also is quoted as from it, the Mormon Church. And other prophets have quoted Joseph Smith since then. But it comes from the Bible. How does one then train a child in the way they should go? Unfortunately, our society, being a first world country designation, has a whole nation full of children who do not get raised in the way they should go. When you lie to a child, when you misinform, miseducate a child, lie, cover up, hide, when you try to change a child's behavior to conform and comply to your will, rather than teaching them how to learn and how to learn how to behave in society, to let them govern themselves, not to have them become what you want to be. And there is a difference. Then they grow up to perpetuate the problem on future generations. And so it's wrong for parents to counsel their children who are new parents to raise their children the way that the parents raised the children, when it was wrong in the first place. And so let's go over desperate enough to leave the LDS Church but not willing to know the truth. So what do I mean by that? Those who follow me know exactly what I mean by that. There are Mormons who have had it with the church. There's something that's the final straw. They heard something, they leave because they're offended. But they're not willing to know what the truth is, because what they were told was a lie. This is what I'm trying to get across to you guys. Brigham Young's church is not Joseph's. Brigham Young lies. Why then are you offended with the lie that Brigham Young told, believing that he's correct? Are you kidding me? And so the person who's not Mormon, KKBAZ, I'm sure that's a legitimate name. Maybe it's a business, but why are you using your business on social media to attack people? Because he's representing his business, and he got banned. Social media is for actual people, unless you have a channel in which your business is involved. And so then you go to other people to get them to come to your channel. But if you're attacking me, I'm not going to allow your comment, let alone go to your channel to find out what you're all about. See, James and Jasmine, they did it the right way. But KKBAZ did it the wrong way, if that is a company name. I have no clue. There's some small fine print for their thumbnail picture. They're not even showing their identity. It says, why are you being so mean and condescending to everyone? I'm not being mean and condescending to everyone. That's a false statement. I'm only being mean and condescending to those who are guilty. The guilty taketh the truth to be hard. Everybody should know where that comes from. You should have already had that lesson, I think. Or is it this Sunday? I never have and never will think that Mormonism has any truth. Okay. Do you not understand what you just said? Apparently not. If Mormonism has no truth in it whatsoever, what does that mean? It means the Mormon church is lying. They're deceiving. They're conning people. Stealing their money. Getting them to conform and comply to the church's behavior for them. That's Lucifer's plan of happiness, in case you are unaware of that. Do you follow Lucifer? Do you endorse his plan of happiness? Yeah, you do. And so this is mean and condescending behavior of the church. And yet, KKBAZ, in telling me what I already know, does not make the connection as to why I condemn this church. This isn't a preemptive strike against the church. Being a liar about the church. We're both agreed that it lies. And but dang, be nice? Bleep you. You're not nice to me. People just don't know how to learn how to learn. And this is where the problem is. I mean, it could be a troll, which is actually a Mormon trying to pretend that they're not a Mormon to condemn me. I've had those. And so the other one from yesterday, I really am not happy with you, Microsoft. Let me design my system and the programs. I'm desperate enough to leave. This is the latest breakout, and it's only in the 400s. So I expect it to die soon, because my views tanked again this morning. I keep getting new subscribers as I reached another milestone. They show them by tens now. And I got to 1,180, and yet the views are pre-boost of subscriber numbers. Dear God. But Mustang Generations, so I don't know if that's horses or if that's the vehicle, the Ford Mustang. But regardless, it's a person who's covering up and hiding their identity, whether that's a business or if it's his personal interest. I don't care, because he's abusive to me. He says, I got to say, you are by far the most negative anti-Mormon apologist I have ever come across. Bleep you. He's replacing science with apologists. Apologetics. Apologetics does not use logic. They do not use scientific methodology. They are a fraud. You use apologetics to defend a position that cannot be defended. And so thus, Mormon apologetics? Yeah, that's why they emerged. They are being the shield to protect the church, but in so doing, they've made the problems worse. Right, John Welsh? And others. And so, again, he's calling me non-scientific, using fallacy arguments to defend my position against the church, which presupposes that the church is scientific and logical. Dear God, because he's saying that I am negative as an anti-Mormon. Dear God. He was not properly educated to learn how to learn. And when you are illiterate, as this is a demonstration of illiteracy, it leads to hate, which is manifested with false accusations of a beam and mote, also called projection, with the video I did yesterday, as the person knew about projecting, and yet projected. And so, yeah, he's assuming I'm the anti-Mormon. Well, first and foremost, Nelson says that Jesus is angry with Mormon. That's Joseph's thing. And that's the whole point. I am against this church because they claim that Joseph in the Book of Mormon is not the learning of the Jews. And I know for a fact, as it says so itself in text, that it is the learning of the Jews. That this church lies. They are negative. They are anti-Mormon. They are lying to Mormons in the world. And this Mormon, which I can't really tell if he's a Mormon. Let me read the rest of it. I go to the usual suspects of YouTube to see what alternative they offer to the religion they are tearing down. And you know what? Like you, we're all the same. Do we all look the same? They never give an alternative. Really? I give an alternative, so I guess I'm not like them. Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon are the learning of the Jews. Is that too complicated? Apparently. Seeing as you have it all figured out, I just know how to read and understand what I read. You can't. Apparently you're illiterate. Which church is true? He's asking me. Well, I'm not going to ask him. You're being mean to me. You're not interested in what I have to say. Because all you had to do was go to another video. Check to see how many videos I have done. How many years I've been doing it. Nope. Didn't bother to do your research first. You did a hasty generalization. With a false accusation. Those are fallacies, by the way. There's a whole Wikipedia organized beautifully about fallacy arguments. And so now he's Bible-splaining to me, which I just went over with you at the beginning. Christ once said, he's assuming Jesus is real. Again, illiteracy. Christians, I know this is going to be difficult to understand. There's a period called the Dark Ages. It's not called the Dark Ages because they're anti-Christian. It's the fruits, which, yes, Mustang guy, is referring to here. Said, by their fruits ye shall know them. The fruits of Christianity is the Dark Ages. Because of the misinformation, the miseducation, the lies, and the cover-ups of Constantine's Christian church that he created, creatio ex nihilo, along with Jesus, the Christians went into the Dark Ages. Science, gone. Technology, gone. Education, gone. Intelligence, gone. Got even so bad that people's clothes were sticking to their bodies because taking off their clothes is porn. A sin. And how dare we bathe? Bathsheba bathed, and where did that get her? And so he's now thinking he's going to review my fruits. So let's review your fruits in this video, calling people stupid and idiots. You are in this comment. I'm sure Christ. Oh, whoops, wait a minute. I know Mormons by their fruits of stupidity and idiocracy, whatever the word is. This is what he's not getting. But now he's using a supposition to go into the mind of Jesus. And remember, Jesus doesn't exist. He's trying to tell me what Jesus thinks, feels, believes. I'm sure Christ called everyone those names. Oh no, he had other names. Shall we go over it? Let's go over it. It's awesome. It's an enjoyable passage. It's in Matthew. It's in chapter 23. Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. What's that? All therefore, whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. This is a King James version, so bear with me. But do not ye after their works. For they say, and do not. For they bind heavy burdens, and yoke you to Jesus, and grievous to be borne. If this is your first video and you have no clue what I just said, it's because you didn't pay attention to conference with Nelson when he said, yoke yourselves to Jesus. The manuals have now all been changed. And lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries. That's from the Old Testament law of the Jews. They're enlarging the borders of their garments. and love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. My name is Rabbi. Did you know that? Did you watch that video? Did you see the picture? I did a upload on Academia of the signs in the heavens with signs that Jasmine pointed out with her question from Jeremiah chapter 10, and added a new one with just the Salem part. Left out the Mormon stuff that's involved so that it can be for a general audience, more a professionally done thing. So that's available on Academia. It's in teaching textual documents or something like that. It's just 4 pages. You can download it for free. But be not ye called Rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ, and all ye are brethren. And if you are clueless, you do not know your Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith and the learning of the Jews. Are you sure you want to hate me, Mormons? You're already fulfilling prophecy. And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. That's Osiris. Amen, the sun god at noonday. Neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Christ. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant, and whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humbleth himself shall be exalted. Yeah, you guys humbling yourselves before me? No. You are exalting yourselves above me, and you abase yourselves when you do that. Beam and mo. And here we go. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. I got Metallica going through my head now. Better than you. Better than you. Theme song in the description below. For ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against the Mormons. Taking away the high priesthood. Have you ever looked at section 76? What's required? Oops! For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering in to go in. New Name Noah already has the text where you can learn the names, signs, and tokens to pass by the angels who stand as sentinels and gain your eternal exaltation. To bypass the system. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte. And when he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. James and Jasmine already learned about this. The missionaries, with their spirit, converted their neighbor. He's now twofold more the child of hell. And so James and Jasmine are not going to be getting baptized. Woe unto you, ye blind guides, which say, whatsoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing. But whosoever swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor. And it just goes on and on and on for 39 verses altogether, where he tells you, behold, your home is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth, till ye shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Not complicated, Mormons. Not complicated. Seems to me that you don't follow Christ. Yeah, Beeman Moat, he doesn't follow Christ. It must be the other guy. What other guy? So I will pass on whatever you are preaching. No, you're not. You're banned. So, in the news last night, the church apparently didn't get the message that they had sent the legislature to do to the children in Utah. Because if you've not been paying attention, the church is wanting to control the behavior of children. They've already got this marriage whoredom with psychology. Psychology is evil. They are only for behavioral control of the masses. Behavioral manipulation. They lie, use fallacy arguments, deny science, and thus the children who've been exposed to psychologists all their life are grown up to have continuing behavioral problems, as that's now their identity. Oh yeah, I have ADHD. Oh, it's real. Because my psychologist told me so. And they give me drugs to control my behavior. Oops. Yeah, there's no such thing. They created it out of nothing. Creatio ex nihilo. And so now the kids are drugged. Now they have a problem. They go through withdrawals, which causes their problem. And then the psychologist goes, see? They need to stay on the drugs. They are evil. And so the church embraces them. They've been embracing them since the 1950s, when the church began conversion therapy. It worked so well for the Nazis against the Jews in World War II. That the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints said, hey, we like that idea of torturing human beings that are not faithful to us. And so they employed Stanley Smith Stevens, who was a Mormon, did his business in Colorado. He was a psychologist. He's the infamous person that everybody now uses. He created the scientific categorization of behavior. Oops. It's a contradiction in terms. Exactly. You cannot scientifically categorize human behavior. But nonetheless, he did it anyway. And everybody embraces it throughout the whole world. YouTube just sent me an email last week. I went over it with you at the end of my video, in which YouTube wants to know my feelings about how they're doing to me as a creator. And it had the spectrum of choices, rather than allowing me to vent all of the problems of YouTube in a paragraph or a book. Instead, they just want to know my feelings, which doesn't answer the question. That's the whole point of psychology. There is no problem. They create the problem. They bully you into accepting that you are a problem and that you need their help to change. And they never fix you because they've got a lifestyle to live. And so they need constant clientele. And if they get government funding, oh wow. Yeah, oh, there are just so many that need help. We need more funding. Dear God. And so, yes, these psychologists have been given government authority to be expert witnesses in court, to determine the lives of people. Utah even created a mental stupidity court. I have all the names. I added more. Let's go over them again. The psychological name calling for your problem that you're in denial of. Impaired, disabled, diseased, ill, retarded, mentally health challenged, psychotic, psychopathic, mental, emotional, behaviorally challenged, unstable, hysterical, mental malfunction, chemical imbalance, extremist, radical, deranged, stressed, moron, depressed, special, criminal, LGBTQIAPO+, religious extremist, fanatic, fundamentalist, crazy, psycho, schizophrenic, sensitive. They keep interchanging those words over the last several generations. And they have been given by the government doctor-client confidentiality. And so when they go into the school systems to your little kids, the parents don't get to know what's going on with their kids, other than the bullying of the psychologist. Yeah, your kid has a problem. I've prescribed these drugs. Make sure they take them. And so the parent believes and trusts them. Oh, my kid's special. Whereas the dad says, oh, great, my kid's retarded. My parents, likewise, they went to a psychologist to find out about my problem. What problem? The family proclamation problem. That's what problem. The church's family proclamation says that the man is the presider in the home. Sorry, women, you're still not equal, even though it says that you're an equal partner. If there's a presider, it's not equal. But you can participate in councils and wear slacks. And you can say more stuff. We promise we're listening with our sunglasses and our headphones. Oh my God, why are women still in the church? Why? And the man, therefore, is responsible for the care of the family. He has to be the provider. And so when the government and the economy are corrupt, the church tells Mormons and Mormon women and Mormon children to blame their husband, not the government or the economy. make the man feel guilty. Oh, I just gotta work harder. Flipping these burgers. Gotta pay for a family. It's all my fault. I'm trying, Bishop. Yeah. I've been down this road. And so, yeah, that was my problem. That I had behavioral problems because I didn't graduate and immediately get a high-paying job to give my family a big home in a suburban white supremacist neighborhood with a white picket fence, 2 cars, so that she can go to the store with credit cards to go shopping. Yep. I just barely got a new job. I was working overtime. And if she had just stayed in the marriage, which I'm glad she didn't, dear God, what a relief. The burden I felt it lift from my shoulders after she left. No more being abused. She's gone. But regardless, dear God, that May I was offered a promotion and a raise. Yep, I worked for a business where I was that good at my job that I was going to rise up and take it all over. But she left. I didn't care anymore. And so I stayed the lowly level employee. And yet I was still attacked by my coworkers because when that promotion was coming up, there were a group of women who worked there. This is with the church, the distribution center downtown at 17th and 17th, wherever it is. They wanted to promote a newly married woman who'd worked there longer than I have, and everybody had, because the employees believe that you should promote from within. You shouldn't promote from without to bypass the people, and that was the tradition of the church, was to do that, keep people down. And so they did not ask me if I was going to apply for the position. They instead conspired against me to falsely accuse me of things that didn't happen. But fortunately, our supervisor our manager knew exactly what they were up to and dismissed it. But he told me about it when he told me about the job opening. And I said, I don't want it. I don't want anything. And so, yeah, he empathized with the loss of the wife. And so the woman got the job automatically because there was no competition. And did they apologize? No. Did they make restitution? No. Mormons are just pure evil. And so, where is it? The children being taught by psychologists to grow up this way, be as mean as they are to me. It also incorporates family services, and I've done the videos where I found Mackenzie and went over her situation, where she was raped. Well, she says sexually abused, so I'm not exactly sure what that means. And the church doesn't properly educate, and the state doesn't properly educate, and so Mormon women believe that if you pat them on the shoulder and saying, "Good job, you look great today," that's sexual harassment. I've now raped her. Seriously, dear God. But, and so, yeah, I'm kind of impressed with the women. They're actually following through with the rape accusations of Tim Ballard, because they're now presenting DNA evidence. There's only one DNA evidence for rape. And she kept it. Which an actual victim of rape typically doesn't want to go to the doctor to do a rape kit because they're so ashamed and embarrassed and blame themselves. And so thus a woman who saves the DNA, they're malicious. They consented for the sole purpose of betraying him and turning against him to frame him. And it's a little bit creepy because you gotta freeze it. Which means she had to have kept it in her freezer. Hilarious. And so the church, and so, yeah, as kids are being totally messed up, the church has family services. And Mackenzie, she went to her bishop to report it, and the bishop ignored her, and so she stayed Mormon. That requires Kleenex. Freezing the spirit. Many spirits are called, but few are frozen. This video is taking longer than I wanted. Oh, dear God. I know at least James and Jasmine will listen to this part of the video. Oh, my God. And, and so when she was 23, she decided she'd go on a mission. And she went in for her bishop's interview. And the bishop then asked, is there anything in your life that you have not repented of but need to confess to the proper authority? And she brought it up again. And the bishop sent her to family services. And family services said she's mentally retarded. And she was denied going on a mission. She would go on to eventually leave the church, but she still thinks she's mentally retarded. She has those videos where she talks about her mental retardation. And yeah, it's the whole list. Pick and choose what you want to call her, because the family services did, to keep her silent, to cover up the abuse that was done to her as a child. And so this is family services, working hand in hand with the church. And they've been doing conversion therapy since the 50s, which finally got stopped in 2021. And the bishops have already been doing their version of it, as I just went over with you. For all sex crimes, the bishop, you're supposed to report it to, go into graphic detail, so that he can then demonstrate to find out how it actually happened. Come here, little girl. Do to me, or tell me what I need to do to you, what that priesthood holder did to you, so that I can understand and help you with your problem. And then they'll discipline them for being the victim, because that's what the church has done. BYU is especially notorious for this. A woman gets raped, and the church says, well, you didn't follow the standards and guidelines of the school, so therefore you're to blame, and you're excommunicated, and you're kicked out of BYU. So yes, oh, you're raped? And so that's why the bishop wants to know, are you to blame for being raped? And then you get punished. This is the same psychological manipulation. And the bishops are not only the bagmen for the money of the extortion racket, but they're also the behavioral morality police. And there's been a lot of problems to protect LDS children. That was necessary by the one bishop who sacrificed his membership just by simply asking the prophets, hey, let's have a list, rather than having the bishops go rogue and getting graphically sexually oriented with little children. They excommunicated him for that. And then with his protest, which got thousands upon thousands of people supporting him and backing him up, the church caved. Now require a witness for children and for women, not for men. And the bishop only reads from a script, like he does with adults. And so the church has been forcing the state of Utah to clamp down on social media, on the internet, and what people watch and what people see and what people go to create a blacklist so that they can know who's going where and seeing what, and etc. All in preparation for 1984 on 8 April 2024. And they were struggling with porn as it got Pornhub to give it worldwide attention. And then you have the Bible getting banned for being pornographic, which then threatened the Book of Mormon, and that's when they finally stepped in. They were okay banning the Bible. The church, however, during that time, promoted the Bible for kids, because it was the Old Testament. And then they went after social media, and struggling with that as they're constantly getting sued for violations of the laws of the federal government. They now have Brother Sandal, who's proposing that Utah no longer obey the federal government. And they've now banned children from cell phones. And yet, the church, on church news last night, have brand new social media for Strength of Youth channels that kids cannot watch because their cell phones are banned. I know kids. I still remember being one. When a kid is told they can't do something, they now want to do it. They want to find out why they can't see it, why they can't have it, why they can't do it. So, yeah, this is what abstinence only does to Utah children. You got a high rate of child pregnancies. You got rapes galore. This is the fruit of abstinence only. But they victim blame everybody to avoid the real cause, which is the church. They're trying to control people's behaviors, sexually control people's behaviors. And so kids are going to now say, Mom, I need my phone so that I can watch the church's social media channel for me. And the parents will be dumb enough to fall for it and give them the phone. And the kid will use it for something else. You know that's what's going to happen. Because when the cell phone first came out, what do you think the kids were going to do with it? They took pictures of their junk and sent them to their friends. This is what I look like. Ooh, that's what you look like? Wow. And the government came in and scared them. This is child porn. No. Children are doing it. You didn't teach them correctly. This is where this is all leading to. Mormons are the way they are because the church isn't teaching them correctly. The state of Utah, by orders of the church, are not teaching correctly. They're lying to you. They're deceiving you. They're conning you. They're hurting you and then blaming you for being hurt. It's your fault, not the church, not the government ordered by the church, not family services owned and operated by the church. It's you. You're to blame. And if you dare say it's them, you get hurt. You get punished. You get abused. And this is what Mormons are doing to me, because the church taught them to do this. Nelson, in the 2023 April conference, condemned Mormons for being mean on social media. And I kept doing the videos after that. And Mormons continued to disobey the living prophet of Jesus. Mormons are wicked. And the truth hurts them because they're guilty. All these commenters are just those who are guilty. They're beaming, moding, projecting. They don't get it. They cannot leave me alone and leave the church. They're staying in the church. They are being abusive so that they can justify staying in the church. See, I already know how to manipulate you and trigger you, as is the word now. It's real easy to do. I just gotta tell the truth. and it enrages you. So, to finish it off, 6 Missourians went missing. They're believed to be in the Mormon church. But yeah, trusting the LDS church causes the Dark Ages, Mormon illiteracy. I published that book. I had to change the title because it enraged everyone. Literally, if you cannot comprehend what you read, you're illiterate. Learning of the Jews, 1 Nephi, chapter 1, verse 2. Yeah, you're illiterate. What am I going to do for a thumbnail picture, Jasmine?